I play the game with no timeouts. You ride my wave, you're getting wiped out. Big mistakes get wiped out. I spot you like a lighthouse. Watch your moves like a night owl. On a full moon, wolves gon' howl. Can't bounce back, no rebounds. I show up like me how.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Tip Off. I am your host, Iceman the Eskimo. Y'all see who I got in the building today right now? Going live for the first time. My man, John. Everything, John. What's going on, John?
I heard this going well. I just watched some good games tonight and ready to recap what happened yesterday and talk about some good stuff tonight.
All right. Let's jump right into it. Y'all know I ain't wasting no time. I got John up here today. You know what I mean? So we're gonna talk about Nets versus Celtics. We lost that game 96-104. And John, tell me what you thought about that game. And basically, I don't even want to talk about Russell. I don't really want to talk about Russell or Johnson, but everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I think the Nets against all the top teams this year have put up some incredible fight. I think Coach Jordan gets so much credit on that. Defensive program has these guys playing from start to finish. And the fact that we haven't gotten blown out by a lot of these top teams, that definitely proves a statement that whoever can be under Coach Jordy's tutelage, he can turn them into something decent on the court. So shout out to the Nets for putting up a good fight. I thought Zaire had some good moments, 15 points, 4 rebounds. He's definitely put himself in that position to earn a potential contract with a team like Brooklyn, maybe around a $10 million salary. I thought he had some good moments last night. Clowney, I know they're easing him back, but he didn't do a whole lot last night, so I thought that was a little disappointing performance. Dayron Chalk was a +2, gave you 9 points, had some good rebounds. Claxton was he only gave you 6 points. He was a -10, and against Porzingis and Al Horford, he was out of his depth. Same with Dayron. So just felt like the Celtics just had a little more firepower than we did, but the Nets fought all the way till the end. And I thought some of the young guys definitely had some moments, just not enough moments. But shout out to Maxwell Lewis, since he's come into the fray last 3 games. Kid's fighting, he's hungry, and this is what I wanted to see the last few games. These guys, these young guys, do they want to be here? Do they want to fight for a spot on this team? I think Maxwell is definitely opening some eyes to say, hey, maybe I may not be a starter or a bench piece, but I could be a part of this team's future. So I hope to see more from the young guys as the season winds down.
Definitely. That's what I'm talking about. Definitely want to see more from the young guys, right? Of course, Maxwell Lewis is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
He surprised me. I knew he was athletic. I looked him up before I talked about him on Breezy's podcast. Shout out to Breezy. But I didn't know that he can really hoop. And that was surprising to me that he could hoop. And I want to see more of that because he seems like, other than Keon, he's got to be like maybe the second most athletic on a guy. And that's refreshing because we don't have a lot of athletic guys. So seeing him get out, transition, run, shoot the 3, confident, I'm liking that. You know what I'm saying? I'm liking that. And Zaire, he's still coming off that injury. He's still playing well, shooting the 3 ball well still. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking Zaire shall return next year.
Looking like it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Keon, like, I'm not a big fan of Keon, but I like what Keon does for us at this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes he give you a lot. Sometimes he don't give you too much. You know what I mean? But it happens when you're trying to figure out the league and you're getting back from the G League. Shout out to all my G League players. That's Iceman the Eskimo, support y'all to the fullest. You heard? I talk about you all the time. You know what I mean? So shout out to Keon. You know what I mean? And see now, Trendon Watford. A lot of fans like Trendon. I'm not a fan of Trendon. I like Trendon's game, but I think for us, he is like he's in between. Like he can play the point forward, but he's not the power forward, the new power forwards that you're looking for. Like he's like in between, like he's like in between Ben, but then he's not athletic. So he gives you the floaters and the layups and a little bit of post game, but it's not explosive, it's not fancy, and you know what you're gonna get every time from him. So I'm not sold on Trendon. I know y'all fans like him. Don't kill me for that. But I'm not a fan of Watford. But You already know my guy, Tyrese Martin. He's the same. I consider him the same as Keon. Some games he can give you a lot. Some games he give you a little bit. And they've been running him at point, but he doesn't get a lot of assists at the point guard position. And I find that interesting that they got him bringing the ball up all the time, but not having him create for others like consistently. He brings the ball up, he give it to Trendon, or he give it to Nick, run to the corner and run the actions from there. So I found that interesting, but I'm rooting for my guy Martin to come back next year. And like you said, Clowney come back with injury. I don't really judge him too much, but some games, that first couple games back he did well. This one he didn't do too much. And Jalen Wilson, he's the same. Like he struggles. He gives you. I think Jalen Wilson needs a point guard. I said it on the last one with Leaf.
Right.
I think Jalen struggles without a point guard. And like I said, when he had Ben, he was more running the floor, transition, getting wide open threes, and that made him look a little better than he does now. So now, before I get into the guards that I think the Nets are interested in, we're gonna talk about your boy Nick Claxton and dayron Sharpe. You know what I mean? So Nick, this game has 6 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and dayron Sharpe had 9 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Now, like I told you, John, there was talks about being interested in a center. I ain't gonna say his name right now. Y'all keep watching. They was interested in the center. The Nets was, or is, I should say, interested in the center. And Claxton, we all know Claxton need stars or a better team around him to perform to his max. So is that a knock on Claxton, or is just a knock on? Is not a knock on him, but the time isn't Claxton's time right now. What do you think?
Very good question. I think with Claxton, you just look at where he was at his best. He was at his best with 3 stars in his team where nobody was really looking at him to guard him much. So he had a lot of free reign with scoring offensively. That was some of his best numbers on the big three. But just like you said, you take that away. What has Claxton given you? He's been very average, worse than a Clark Kent, given what he's given you the last few years. I understand Sean Marks wants to reward Claxton for being a homegrown player, but when you get rewarded $100 million, I expect to at least improve on your weaknesses a little bit. Offensive this year, he's made a few mid-range shots, maybe 4 or 5. He's made 1 3. But when you look at dayron, he's made more threes than Claxton and has had some better plus and minuses. I don't want to say you should be embarrassed for Claxton, but it's like, damn, this guy's had a really up and down year. He goes from having a game winner against Philly to getting cooked by Bismack Biyombo, who wasn't even on a team a few weeks ago, and then he throws out 10 assists against the Warriors, and then he gets out rebounded by Moose Diabate, another guy who wasn't even on the Hornets team till recently. So I feel like with Claxton, it's just been such an up and down year, and looking at the best bigs in the league right now, because it seems like the league is going back to having traditional bigs. Unfortunately, with Claxton, I don't see a full-blown center, especially with his limited offensive game. I see an undersized power forward that can guard 1 through 4 on occasion, but struggles mightily against some of the best bigs in the league. And dayron, he's a great rebounder, but he can't dribble much, and he gets in foul trouble. So looking at the future of our center position, I think you really need to look at this upcoming draft as a chance to get a new center, reset your center position by maybe trading Claxton and re-signing dayron on the cheap. I just think that Claxton's time, like you said, might be up because he's approaching 26. His offensive game isn't there, and defensively as he gets older, if that goes away, what does Claxton really give you? And you want to be stuck paying somebody like that that's already kind of met this ceiling. So I feel like the way it's looking, there is a chance Claxton could be dealt this summer, and the Nets could draft a new center and reset that position and have better financial flexibility. But we'll see what happens. I just don't see with Claxton right now. He's just not clicking like you expect him to click, getting all that money.
Right. All right. So this is my take on Clax. Right. I kind of are where you are, but I'm kind of not at the same time because I know once you build a team, Claxton showed that he can play, but it all depends on who's playing next to him. So for me, it's not a real knock on him, but it is, and then it's a knock on the way they're building the team at the same time. Right. It's knock on the organization because Clax need a certain type of power forward or someone next to him to help him out, to be at his best. At the same time, Clax is underweight, but he is 6'11". He does block shots, and at times he showed that he can do some things at times. It's just not consistent, right? So you might like the last couple few games ago when he had the high assists, the high points. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, "Whoa!" You know what I'm saying? Hold on, we didn't think Claxton could do all that. And then when you watch games like this, he go against Porzingis, who can't stay healthy himself, but and it's like, whoa, okay, we need to upgrade on center. We need some more firepower. So I don't really knock Clax for that because we've seen him at his best. And then now that the team is working to get younger, you're like, hold on, maybe he doesn't match up. Maybe he should go somewhere where there are stars like you mentioned, John, with the Lakers or someone where he can like Luca, Trey Young for Claxton is like the perfect point guard. They want to
Right.
throw the lobs every time down court. You know what I'm saying? And he is a rim runner, lob threat all the time. He's just too light. But if you put somebody next to him, LeBron at the 4, you know what I mean? That might help him out. He had KD at the 4. He did pretty well. And like you said, dayron is interesting. He does get in foul trouble, but dayron is a rebounding machine,
Right.
right? And unfortunately, he's 6'9", right? He has the weight, he has the build, but he's 6'9". He's not 7 foot. So dayron is a question mark. Claxton is a question mark. But now I'm gonna talk about the guy that they're interested in,
Mm.
right? Maxim Reynard, Stanford center, leading. He was leading the in their conference in rebounding, and he was second in points for a certain amount of time. It was said, I even seen it on Nets Daily, Nets Daily's thing that he put out that that he that the Nets were interested in Maxim. So I seen that twice. I seen that twice on the internet, on Twitter, that the Nets were interested in Maxim. And my thing is with Maxim, he's nice. He's a senior. I found out he walked on. I done mentioned that before. But if you look at his growth in the 4 years, every year his points got higher, his rebounds got higher, his blocks got higher, assists got higher. Every year. And being a walk on, I think he's now 22 when he graduates. Being a walk on and being able to accomplish what he did, that's big. That's big for Max. So Claxton and dayron, I'm like, if they're interested in the center this time around, somebody's job got to be on the line, right? And
Right.
I'm not saying I want somebody's job on the line, but if they're drafting a center in this draft, somebody somebody has to go, John. You know what I mean?
Right. And can I just say this too? Like you mentioned with stars will help Claxton. The thing is, we're not in a line to get stars right now. Like I know some people have talked about a Giannis hypothetical. If you get Giannis, who's the second star coming in? And we have so many assets you have to give up for just for Giannis. Like that doesn't make sense right now for us to get stars to maximize Claxton's abilities. It would be foolish at this point. Whereas with a team like the Lakers, they need a center. Jackson Hayes is not a starting big. He's a backup big that got thrust into the role because the Mark Williams deal went to hell. So he's a free agent this year, Jackson Hayes. So then they do need a center. And looking at the market this year, a Miles Turner sign and trade, maybe, but I don't know if that makes sense for them. They don't want DeAndre Ayton. They don't want Robert Williams. Claxton does make a lot of sense for the Lakers, especially what he can do defensively. You put him with Luka and LeBron defensively, he should be able to give you more effort. And offensively, they should help carry Claxton on his offense. So I feel like there's a great potential there for a partnership there. And like you said, if we can get rid of Claxton this summer, re-sign dayron on the cheap, draft somebody like Maxine or Renard or a Thomas Sorber. Like Thomas Sorber's, I think he's a freshman, right? Thomas Sorber.
Yeah, I think I can look it up real quick, but I think he is a freshman.
Right, and we have to decide: do we want to get a freshman big or do we want to get a senior big? Usually, I guess, think for the Nets, they might want to go a little younger. But let's say we miss out on Sorber, you could get Renaud, like you say, he's a little more experienced. His numbers look really impressive. The offense rebounding ratio, very impressive, and he's a 7 footer. But will Marks actually draft a 7 footer? That would be like breaking news on draft night if he actually drafts somebody over 7 foot. It really would be. So if we can get a big in this draft, I think you could reset your position getting rid of Claxton, re-sign Dayron on the cheap, and I feel like we have more flexibility there. Just right now, we don't have flexibility at the center position because I feel like Claxton's hit that ceiling. So we definitely have to start thinking about whose job is on the line. Can we get a center in this draft, and can we move forward, stay in that position, actually have a big that can compete against the best bigs? Because I don't feel like we'll ever be a serious team unless our center can actually go out there and do both things well on offense and defense. So we'll see. It's going to be
Okay.
interesting to see how that plays out.
Okay. Got Leaf in the building pulling up. But back to Reynard, right? Back to Reynard. Real quick, Sorber is a freshman. 6'10 freshman. I'm gonna stay on Reynard, then we go back to Sorber.
Mm-hmm.
Reynard, he can do everything. He's not a real shot blocker. He can block shots. He's not a real shot blocker, but he can assist. He can create for others. He can create for himself. He can drive from the 3-point line. He can post up. He can shoot the midi. He can shoot the three. Kind of athletic, not too slow. You know what I'm saying? He's big man fast, but I think he could be a little bit faster than some bigs. That's what we're talking about. A guy that can score, give you 20 and 10 to 20 and 12, 20 and 15, 3 steals, 1 block, 2 blocks. Like, that's what type of game he has. And there are other centers in this draft, and we just talking about one because that's the only one I know that they're interested. I've seen his name twice so far. But there are other centers, and I'm going to get into that in a second, right? But Reynard, plus he's international. Don't let me forget he's international. He's an international guy, too. So that's big. That's big. That's big for Marks and them. You know what I mean? Side, they like the international guys, international players, right? So he is being looked at right now. And you know what, John, I would like this dude on the team. I've been watching him a lot. I've seen his name on Twitter a lot. And the more I watch him, the more I'm like, you know what? He's more skilled than I tell you, than all 4 of the power forwards and the bigs. He has more skills than those guys on our team right now. And adding him in and having your guy Cam Thomas come back, Breezy, having him come back and having another skilled big and possibly picking up some other pieces along the way, it would help this team. You know what I mean? What you think, John?
I definitely agree. And look at Matt Renard. He's 250 pounds. We need a big with body size. I mean, how long has Claxton been stuck at 220, getting to 225? I think Clowney in his first year already gained more weight than Claxton, which is scary and shocking. I don't know if Claxton has a health situation where he can't gain certain weight, but if that's the case, you got to get a big that has the body weight to body up against the other bigs. Look at the Senguns, the Zach Edey's, the Wembys. This is the way the NBA is going. And for Brooklyn, our biggest problem has been small ball philosophy, having a forward be our backup big on certain nights like that. We need to get away from that. Get an actual big that could defensively handle other bigs, but offensively doesn't need a point guard to do 90% of the work for them. That's the problem with Claxton Dayron. They need point guards to unlock pretty much all their offense. I'd rather have a big that doesn't need a point guard to do most of that for them. So if we could get a guy like Maxime Renard, I'm definitely game for that. If we could get a guy like Thomas Sorber with that Bucks pick, that Bucks pick's looking really good. We get to that a little bit, but to Renard, you get somebody like that is a little more experienced. He's a senior, little gamble there, but it seems like he could meet the challenge and be an actual big for us. So I definitely think it makes sense, but Mark says to show us he's willing to overcome his big man phobia.
The phobia. Yes. Hey, that's the right word, because I also said on Breezy's podcast, they don't really look at point guards and they don't really look at centers. So I hope, that was from what they drafted before. So I hope now that something is changing, because I seen Reynard's name. I hope that I'm wrong and they finally switching up and go and get a 7-footer. You know what I mean? A legit 7-foot guy with skills, not just a rim runner, not just the back to the basket hook guy, like a legit scoring center. You know what I mean? Like they at Stanford, they run through him. The offense runs through him. You know what I mean? The point guard does their thing too, but you know what I'm saying? Once he gets down the floor, it's like, all right, get in the post. You know what I mean? Go to work. Or top of the key, you know what I'm saying? Triple threat, drive to the basket, assist on a pass to the wing. That's what type of center that you want for the Nets, somebody's skilled, and my guy Leaf Diggy talked about skilled guys in this draft that we may need to pick up for this team. You heard? Leaf, what you talking about?
Well, what I was talking about was the skill player and the skill players that we could use on this roster because that Jordy knows how to find hustle guys and athletic guys and guys that's going to run through a wall defensively and run through a wall in terms of the hustle plays and the second and third effort plays. He's found that he can find it's been proven that he can find that anywhere. In terms of the skill set, guys, the skill sets that you can't teach. I brought up Yegor being the best assist man in this draft, being the best pass in this draft. I brought up Ace in a skill set that you can't teach with him, and we did talk a little bit about the in the event that we get Cooper Flag, how everything was gonna like somewhat reroute within a year, or probably less, maybe whatever the time scale that is. But you yeah, but Maxime Reynard, the more and more I watch him, the more and more he'll fit that base set. You know, that base skill set. He could do a little bit of everything, but he's not necessarily excelling at and super excelling at one thing. But he has the chance to do so. Um, in terms of the 5 and the 4, your front court in today's NBA going forward is going to have to be big body center and kind of a stretch big type of 4. We already got Clowney, so we already working on that set. We already got one piece of the puzzle together. The big body center, the rebound bruiser, do a little bit of everything, get up and down the court type of center, ultimate rebound kind of guy, ultimate enforcer kind of guy, gonna give you 4 good fouls, obviously, but not probably as fast foot, not probably as quick to the ball. That type of center, bro, like that's probably the center that we need. Now, the good news is that the Dayron 25, 15, and 5 game gave us a vision of what we need at the 5. It gave us a perfect vision. Obviously, I'm sold on Derek Queen, but in the event that we don't get him, we talked about Sorba. We talked about Wolf. Now we down there, Maxime Reynard. So I mean, I think a good amount of those bigs under any one of those bigs under Jordy Fernandez would definitely be a clock. And we talked about got Sean Marks not drafting 7 footers. I mean, I don't know if Jared Allen count or not, but I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, but we definitely could use something on that front. But if in the event that we get Coop, excuse me, in the event that we get Coop, I see us going after like a big time trade right away, and probably going after and probably getting Clax and Cam Johnson off the books right away. But one of them is probably going to be for expiring contracts, some young pieces. The other is probably going to be for a star that we could fit with Coop. That's what
All
I
right.
see.
So, but I was talking about them not drafting. They haven't drafted a center in a while, right? That's not
Yep.
Jared Allen, not Claxton, but they haven't drafted in a while. So that's what I was talking about with them. Now, John, back to Sorber, because he's interesting, right? Thomas Sorber, 6'10". He is also what is he's listed at 255 at 6'10", right? You know what I'm saying?
Dynamic.
255 at 6'10". Now, I'm not sure if he shoots the 3 or not. Let me see, his 3-point percentage is low. So he's not a real 3-point shooter.
That might
But
be subject to change in the NBA, especially playing under
Right.
Jordy.
facts, Lee. I was just about to get there. Facts. Just because they don't do it now doesn't mean they won't do it later. But like I said, I put him in that Bam category because he shoots the midi, he operates from the free throw line, rebounds well, he blocks shots as well. You know what I'm saying? And he's 6'10", so he could be a power forward. Now, me and Leaf talked about it, and you just mentioned it, John. Like the NBA, power forward position is going 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot. You know what I mean? With skills. And possibly what I was telling John Leaf is possibly if you was to land on him with that Bucks pick, you would have to draft another center behind him because you would want a 7-footer. Now, do y'all agree to that?
Definitely something to think about for sure. And that Bucks pick, let's talk about that for a second. That Bucks pick is now just 3 points shy of being 17. It's 18 right now, even though the Pistons won tonight. They're 3 percentage points behind. So if that Bucks pick is anywhere from 17 to 20, that's about 2 spots right out of the lottery. Thomas Sorber is right there for the picking for us. So you get Thomas Sorber with that Bucks pick, great. But I also say this too. If you want to pair that pick with a Johnson to move up, to trade with a team like the Spurs or OKC, you probably want to stay competitive. There's definitely a possibility there too. I think the Bucks pick is lining up exactly where you want to, but it gets sober. I think you could definitely mold them into maybe a combo big on this team. Like you said, maybe he's a power forward, but depending on matchups, he could be a 5. And if you develop the offensive game further, somebody said he has a Bam Adebayo type ceiling, which is that'd be insane if we could develop somebody like that, especially using the Bucks pick. So there's a lot to like with Thomas Sorber on his offensive output, the rebounding. And if you get the 3-point shot better, I think you can make him a complete big for your future. So there's a lot to like with this guy. He's also a New Jersey native. Like, come on, the home story writes itself. So there's a lot to like with getting somebody like Thomas Sorb with the Bucks pick. If we can get him, I think if you get a top lottery pick and you get Sorb with your Bucks pick, that's a great start to your draft night. And I hope the Nets can do something like that on draft night because we need to make an impact, not just the lottery pick, but with this Bucks pick if it lands under 20.
Yeah, y'all see my guy pull up. Big fan, Breezy. You heard? Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
what's goody?
Oh, Breeze.
Yo, so I was
Just
saying,
listening to y'all.
go ahead, Breeze.
Oh, no, I was just listening to y'all talking about the draft picks. I'm not familiar with a lot of these. That's why when y'all join the panel, I'll be hyped so I can learn about some of these players that y'all talking about. I was listening to some of the clips that you did with Leaf on TikTok, and I follow you on TikTok now, so I was watching some of the content there. But ultimately, I just think we're in good shape. You know what I mean? I think we got that advantage point. I think we got that advantage. I think we got the upper hand. I feel like we gonna, Johnson, the Bucks at the 17th pick now. Like it's just shaping out for us. You know what I mean? We don't have to be, I don't know, pessimistic. We don't have to be negative. You know what I'm saying? I think we got a good situation. I think that again, I'm not. Yeah, I've seen all of the mistakes Sean Marks made, so I'm not taking it there. But it's a lot of this redemption season for him. You know what I'm saying? I think if he does well with this draft, I won't say all will be forgiven, but I'm not. I'm looking at this in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just chilling. I was just listening in. That's all.
All right.
Hey, Scott.
What's
Hey,
going
what's up,
on,
everybody?
Scott? Somebody snoring?
Oh, yeah, somebody is snoring.
Yo.
I thought it was like an oxygen tank or something.
Oh, listen, don't let her hear you say that. Don't let her hear you say that. Wait, listen, I'm going to switch my machine. I'm going to go to another machine. I'll be right back.
Wow, yo, hey. Yeah, so with Sorber, player one talks about bigs that the Nets have need an elite passer. That's true. That's why Leaf was talking about Yegor. Leaf is high on Yegor. He wants Yegor, and you mentioned Josh Giddey. But the Bulls said that they traded for Josh Giddey because they want he plays the style of basketball that they want. So that's why they traded for Josh. He may stay there, he might not. I'm not sure, but I know that's why the Bulls traded for him. Now, Thomas Sorber, like we were saying, Sorber, the league is getting bigger at the power forward in the center position. So drafted him and Raynaud could be a big move for the Nets going forward, right? Sorber's not he's not a big that's going to stretch the floor, but he is a big that do a lot of work in the paint at 6'10", 255. You know what I mean? Raynaud, he could do everything. So I think if I was the Nets, I will want to draft two bigs. You know what I mean? I know we got Clowning, but you don't have nobody else. And plus we undersized. So, you know what I'm saying? Having two guys that weigh 250 plus, that's it. That is a plus for the Nets right now. You know what I mean? What you think, John?
How much
I
do they
could.
play with their back to the basket?
Both of them do. Breeze. Both play
Okay.
with the back to the basket. Raynor is 7 foot, 250. He shoots the three. He spreads the floor. He can drive to the basket. Sorber is more of your Bam out of bottle type of player, mid range, post game, rebounds, blocks. He works in the mid range area more.
You know, it'd be interesting. Let's say that lottery pick is around 7 through 9. Nobody's got Common Maluwalk. Imagine we could draft Common Maluwalk and Thomas Sorber on the same night, and you trade Claxton in the summer. You could hypothetically play Sorber and Maluwalk together. Get Maluwalk's defense. You get Sorber's offense at the 4 position. You get two bigs playing at the same time together. You move Clowney to the bench. Offensively gives you spark off the bench. You get bigger as a team. I think that could be a strategy as well. Let's say we don't draft say we draft Sorber, we don't get Renard. If that lottery pick is out of top 5 or 6, maybe getting Maluwalk working backwards might not be a bad strategy either, but we could reset the whole center position and the forward position a bit. So there are different combinations for sure, but your Renard and Sorber one, very enticing for sure. It might be a little slow ball because Renard's a 7-footer, but still, if you could have Sorber be the rim runner and you could have Renard just hanging at the hoop, lobbing it up or something like that, throwing floaters, I think you become a bigger, dangerous team. And we could potentially get Renard with our 2nd-round pick, potentially, if he falls out of the lottery. So there's definitely potentiality that we could get a forward in Sorber or a big, depending on switchability, and you can get an actual big in Renard. I think that'd be a genius move by Marks. I think you'd definitely show up a lot of doubters who think you can't draft bigs or actually draft two bigs together to play on the team. I think everybody's talking about the Nets saying, why don't the Nets play two bigs ever? Well, we haven't had a lot of bigs in a while. So if you get Sorber and Renard, I think that would be a genius move on Mark's part because you address the center position and the forward position, and it gives you an out with Claxton potentially. So I'd definitely be open to it for sure.
For sure. That's the exact reason why we can't play two bigs, because we don't have two skilled bigs. You know what I mean?
That too.
The 3 can't really dribble to the rim. He's gotten better. And Claxton, you know, he does what he does at times, but he's more of a full court, downhill, try to make a move, open court layup type of big. You know what I mean? So having them two, it would be nice. It would be different. Even if we got Maluwalk and Sorber, that'll still be good because it's two guys, two centers weighing 250. You know what I mean?
Right.
Our two centers together don't weigh that much. You know what I'm saying? Like together, like, nah, man, we need help. You know what I'm saying? The Nets is calling for help. It looks like they're looking for a center. Adar said no to Sorber. You know what I mean?
He doesn't watch Sorber's game. I could tell.
Right? So they're still looking for big. Well, at least that's a plus for the fans. At least we know they're looking for a big, and that's good for us because we, as fans, been saying we need a big man, and they're finally looking at a 7-footer. Raynor is interesting too because he is listed. Some people have him listed in the first round in the 28 area, and some people have him in the second round in the like the 40s. So I'm not sure where he's gonna land at. Like, you know what I mean? It's a big range for him. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's a toss up, but we could get him with one of the picks at the end of the first round, or like I said, the second round. Now there are some other players that I just seen online that's interesting. Some guards, and I'm gonna read off the names to you because I got it right here. Trey, the Nets may be interested. Like this is on Nets Wire. Trey Johnson, guard at Texas, playing tonight. If y'all don't know, Trey's playing right now. You know what I mean? Ian Jackson, which is surprising. Nets Wire. Ian Jackson from North Carolina, playing North Carolina right now. And his teammate, Drake Powell, 6'6", guard, North Carolina. Some people think that Drake need another year, but North Carolina didn't do right by Drake. They sat him on the bench and then realized that they needed him, and he started back playing back later. Miles Bird, another name that I talked about. Y'all heard me talking about Miles Bird. You know what I mean? Miles is on there. Defensive guy, 6'7". You know what I mean? He does a little bit of everything. As Dylan, that press shouted out that his shot is not consistent, but Miles do a lot of other things other than shooting. You know what I mean? And the last one, this guy is actually playing against Trey Johnson tonight. His name is Dylon Swan. 6'8" guard. I was watching a little bit of him before I came on. He is a defensive guy. For that team that he plays on, he was giving Trey a little bit of trouble. In the beginning, Trey is 6'6", he's 6'8", long wingspan, not real athletic, but a defensive guy. So most of those guys, like on Trey, is offensive. Ian is offensive on this list. Miles Bird, Drake Powell, and Dylon Swan is defensive guys. So there's 2 offensive guys, 3 defensive guys that the Nets are interested in. Well, it says Nets Wire on Nets Wire that they could be interested in them. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, I think the one that obviously stands out is Trey Johnson. He's somebody that's looked at as being in a top 5 lottery scenario because he's a shot creator. Some people say he could be the Cam Thomas of this draft, and that's my potential worry. If listen, if we have to choose the best player, depending where we pick the selection, you choose the best player. But the thing is, you could have potential internal competition between Trey Johnson and Thomas. What position are they going to play? Because Trey Johnson's a 2-3 right now. Thomas is a 2 who might have potential at the 1. So you still might need a point guard. Can play two of them on the court together. Like there's a lot of potential conflict there. But at the same time, if you get a Bucks score like Trey Johnson and you re-sign Thomas this summer and his contract is very market friendly, you might have to be forced to make a decision between either one of the two. And if Trey Johnson proves to be really, really good as a scorer, you might have to make some tough decisions there. But he definitely could be at the top of the list for Brooklyn if their lottery pick is in the top 5 for sure. Some of the other guys, Drake Powell, a defensive guy, could fit Jordy's system excellent from what I've seen on his stat sheet. Like he could definitely be somebody that could bring that culture, that grit we're trying to establish. I know you're also high on Miles Bird, could definitely be another option. So I think the Nets are trying to look at what can fit more with Jordy's system. You look with Trey Johnson, offensive shot creator. We need that right now. And with these other guys, defensive grit. We need some defensive replacements to some of these guys on 1-year deals. So I feel like the guys that they're looking at right now could all potentially be fits on this team because they're fitting what Jordy's trying to build with his team, which I think is good scouting on their part. And it shows that they're trying to build a structure and actually have roster balance because that's been our biggest issue the last few years. We don't have a balanced roster. So we could actually start creating a balanced core. That's how you start developing real fundamentals on a basketball team. We don't have those fundamentals yet. We have a good coach, but we need to actually build the core. So some of these guys could definitely be options for us depending on where we select in this lottery.
What you think about these guys, Scott? Before you answer that question, Wendell Carter, he asked about Thomas Sorber being compared to Wendell Carter and Daniel Gafford. Do you know anything about that?
I like the guy from Georgetown, the center from Georgetown. I like Derek Queen a little better, but the thing I like about the guy from Georgetown, he's more of a a player-oriented type center where he passed a little better than Queen, I think. His footwork is pretty good, and his ability to shoot is pretty good. So I always said that those are the 2 centers that that he might be able to get. But Queen moved up in the draft a lot because,
Right.
Yeah, and
a lot
Sorber
of
might
people-
drop down because of his injury.
Yeah, he dropped down because he was hurt and less playing time, I think. So
Okay. I wouldn't compare him. I don't see the comparison to Wendell Carter or Daniel Gafford because his
Yeah.
play style is not like any of those. His play style is more like Bam Adebayo's play style.
I think
And
so
if you
too.
watch him, yeah, he's more of a mid-range free throw line in the paint rebound. That's where his game is around. You know what I mean? He don't shoot too many threes, so I wouldn't compare him to any of those. They play styles different from his player one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally
What do you
agree
think
with
about these guys that that the Nets looking at these guards. Miles Bird, Ian Jackson, Drake Powell, Trey Johnson. It was on Nets Wire, and I
Right.
forget the other guy's name. Dylon Swan, playing against Trey Johnson tonight. What you think about those 5 guards? 3 of them are defensive, 2 of them are offensive.
Yeah, I think Trey Johnson would probably be the one I like the most. I want to see during the tournament because not everybody's playing in the tournament. Matter of fact, so it's difficult. They have also Boogie Flan as one of the people that they was looking at because he's falling way back. So
he's also playing in the tournament, I heard, which is interesting. So he maybe wants to try to bring the value up a little bit.
Yes, that's right. That's why I'm kind of like, I can't wait for the tournament to start.
I think everybody is. Everybody's going through bracket mania right now.
Yeah, but it's only it's only a couple of teams I really want to pay attention to. So, but as far as they definitely going to pick up a guard in the draft, I think. So,
yeah,
who? I'm not sure.
I mean,
really not sure.
I mean, if we could get a point guard with that lottery pick and then get a center in the middle end of the draft or in the second round, like I suggest, like that's a good night. Like you want to get combinations that fit your need. We get a point guard in the center with our first 2 picks. Boom. Mm-hmm. You get an all-star power forward and a point guard in the late part of this draft and a center in the second round. Boom, boom, boom. Like the Nets could address a lot of issues of areas of need at this draft. They just got to be strategic and hopefully the lotto balls drop where they should for this team right now.
If they lucky to get something early, and if that ball falls in the top 3, I'll be doing backflips.
We all would be.
I'll be doing backflips because then it changes the way you look at your other picks too. Because you're definitely going to get somebody of quality in that first 3.
Right.
So, oh man. Then I would definitely go all out for Queen if he's there, but Queen probably won't be there.
Definitely,
that'll be the thing,
right? Because he's like I said, he's Queen is different.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like he may go earlier or he may go later. You don't know where exactly he's gonna go at.
Yeah, that's true.
Talk is he should be 5'4". You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need
to see him down at 10. You know what I mean? 11.
I need the Bucks to lose more games, couple more games. That's what I need. I need the Bucks to lose some games, man. I ain't worried about the Knicks. The Knicks are too high up right now for them to. I don't think they're going to fall back that far.
They just lost to Chris Paul tonight, man. Imagine this: you spend a haul of assets for Towns, Bridges, and you pay OG $40 million. You couldn't beat Chris Paul right now. Like, man, that Bucks pick could be gold right now for us potentially. So, like you said, Scott, let's hope it's under 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking. I'm looking at under 20. So that under 20 pick would be an interesting pick. I have a feeling like when you look at the GM for the Nets, he does well with later picks.
Correct.
He showed. I've seen him do better with later picks than he did early picks. Well, he never had an early pick, but
So yeah, it's gonna go on. It's gonna go on whoever he drafts first. Like
right, that's what it is.
Whoever he drafts first probably dictates whoever he drafts later on. I don't, you know what I mean? Because even when I did it on a mock draft, whoever I draft first, it changes the way I look at the drafts for the most part. You know what I mean? Like you want different players to go along with a certain player, right? And even though we need set players on this team, it just matches up better. Like if you draft Ace, you draft more wings, you get your power forward and your center. If you draft Coop, then you don't really, you know what I mean? You still might want a power forward, but then he can play both. And even though he's 6'9", you might want him at your 3, but then you like, sometimes I can take advantage and play him at your 4. You know what I mean? So you might be like, oh, do I get another wing? Or do I just stick with the real power forward and then have him slide in? And, you know what I mean? Or do I draft the power forward that can play center too, and I can slide them both? You know what I mean? It all depends on who you dream, on who you pick first. And sometimes you have dream picks. Reynard, Ace, you know what I mean? And I'm high on Miles Bird. I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah.
I am high on Miles Bird. I think he is who Jordy would want. But he's slim body, 6'7", guard who plays absolute. He's the defensive guy.
Right.
Steals, blocks. You know what I mean? I think that's who Jordy would like.
Where do they have him in the draft?
Miles is in the second round.
Second round.
I think
Okay.
Miles is a soft. I think he's a
Oh,
soft.
I got him. 40. Yeah, 40. Yeah, they got him in the NBA. 49 Miles Bird.
His rebounding gets a lot better. You look at his stats, the rebounding's gotten better, the assists have gotten better. The field goal dropped a lot. His first year, he was averaging over 53.8%, but now it's down to 38%. But like you said, there is some upside there. He is a little, he's only 190 pounds, but maybe he
Right.
could be a speedster for something like that potentially as a guard. So he's an option if you miss out on a top point guard. But here's the interesting thing. Let's say we do get. Let's say we're a lottery pick, we draft a center, or we get one of the all-star power forward potentials in Asa Cooper. Let's say the Spurs OKC somehow get Jeremiah Fears, but they want to trade with us. If we could find a way to get a all-star power forward and get a point guard like Jeremiah Fears by trading our Bucks pick with Johnson to a team like the Spurs OKC, that is a master night for Sean Marks. If your lottery pick lands that top three and you could find a way to Jeremiah Fears, if he somehow slips down to that 10-11 bracket, that could be a successful night for Sean Marks right there. And then you still have the later picks to get a center like a Maxine or Renard that you're talking about, which would be a great night, Ice, for Sean Marks. That could be something to look out for, too.
Would celebrate for the rest of the year.
Yes, I would. I know I would.
You know what I mean? They would celebrate like it's Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
early New Year's if we draft.
But where do you think Fears will land, though, Ice, right now? Just based off, could it be top 6 or top 10? I think top 10 might be realistic for Fears right now. I just don't know if he's going to crack top 6 or 7 right now because there's some really good.
I would say the latest that I got him going is probably 7 or 8.
7 or 8?
The earliest I probably got him going is maybe 5. Maybe 5.
Interesting.
Yeah. Got him going between 5 and 8. Yeah, 5 and 8. Because it just really depends. Like everybody think the tournament is going to change a lot. I personally don't. I ain't gonna lie. I set up like another 75 brackets, bro, in the last 24 hours. So on both sides, man. So I'm trying to win all this chicken. So
you probably right, Leaf. You're probably right because a lot of players are not in the draft in the game. They're not in the tournament.
It's a significant amount of players that's not in the tournament. Obviously, Ruckus is not in the tournament.
Right.
Obviously, it's a couple of other players within that top 10 that's not in. Illinois is in, but nobody really care about Caspers like that. Yegor done went down. He done sunk down all the way to like in the late teens.
Are you surprised at that? I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah. I'm kind of because like listen, who was it? PT was telling me about him but like before the year started, and then when we finally watched him, I just seen his playmaking vision. His playmaking hasn't changed. I think that's still a thing that's going to adjust to the NBA. That's going to correlate to the NBA game right off the rip, man. Because if you could pass, bro, like yo, it's a spot for you on the NBA court. It's not too many playmakers that could thread the needle and passes that could get everything right on a dime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
especially
I mean,
at his size, especially.
Right.
yeah, especially at that height at 6'9". But Fears, I don't see Fears going outside of the top 10, and I don't see Yegor falling outside of the top 20. If that do happen, bro, we talking about something astronomical.
Yeah, we can land something good.
Yeah.
We can land something really good for real.
Listen, I'm not on the fence. I told everybody I'm in the doghouse. I done kicked the dog out. Listen, if we land Ace and Yegor, bro, I'm cool, bro. Y'all can do whatever y'all want with the rest of the draft. Y'all could get Sabor. Y'all could get Sabor, Freybor, Freddie. I don't care who y'all get. Wolf, Cook. Man, listen, I got the 2 players I want. Y'all could draft the rest of this board however y'all want to.
Quite possible you can get Thomas Sobor after that.
It's possible that you could land him in the mid 20s.
Right.
So I mean, I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah. I, I
Mm.
I I heard so many things about Fairs. I don't know where he's gonna go. Some people think he should be 5. You know what I mean? Some people think 7 for Fairs. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't know
Interesting.
where
Yeah,
Fairs is gonna land up, but that's my guy. You know what I mean? If we draft Fairs, I'm excited. I'm
I think
excited for Fairs.
Fizz and VJ, they got an interesting thing going because VJ with his athleticism and Fizz first step coming out of this draft, man, I think they have something elite that they could add to the NBA game that could correlate. But the thing
Right.
is it's all about the roles that you put them in. It's all about the spots that you put them in and the teams that you put them on and how they're going to correlate to them teams and how they're going to correlate to them teams winning. So cuz obviously you can't like I feel like VJ because of his defense you could put him anywhere, but Fizz is an interesting I think his Fizz is a hit or miss depending on where you go.
Mm.
He might be a
Mm.
hit or miss depending on where you go.
I
And
think
I wouldn't still
Fairs.
rule out Yegor. I know some people talk about can he catch up to speed of the NBA, but you can't teach 6'8", 6'9" height or passing vision. And if we have the Bucks pick and him or Sorborn selected, I might be slightly torn there because if we don't have a point guard in the lottery, and let's say we do draft a center, if we could get Yegor Demon with our Bucks pick, I'm fine with that scenario. Because I think Jordy could work with Yegor and highlight. Let's remember, Jordy's the what is he the playmaking whisperer? Like if he can mold Yegor into an actual solid prospect, skilled point guard. I think we're in the money on that one. Like that could be a
Hey,
steal right there if we get him.
Hey, listen, me and Ice been over this. I see why he was high on Ben to begin with because Ben has an elite skill set that you still can't teach, and that's vision, passing. Like he sees the spots on the court before it happens, and the thing about Ben is that he had defense. I don't know if Diego got the defense that Ben got at all or even close to it, but he definitely got that vision and making plays out of three different levels, making plays out of the post, making plays from the 3-point line, making plays in open court for others, bro. Like I definitely think that's a plus for your team. However, I wanted to talk more about that front court situation that you was talking about, John, and you talked about the type of centers and the type of fives and the fours that you need to compete in, going forward. We
Uh-huh.
me and Ice touched on it. I think the NBA is going back to to the fours that they're going to is more the Rasheed Wallace type of builds. You know,
Mm,
guys that could defend, guys that could do a little bit of shooting, do a little bit
right.
of out of the post, pick and pop, pick and roll, and incredible and good enough athletes they could play above the rim, those type of players. I think that's what the league is looking for, the Rasheed Wallace type of build at the four. At the five, it's more of still your brute, big body screens type of player, bro. I don't know if y'all saw it last night, but Drew Holiday got his ass laid out by
Yeah.
dayron, bro, on the screen, bro. I seen like that. He got laid out. But yo, Drew got up, bro. Like he was like, "Oh shit, yo, what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hell
I see.
happened?" Yo,
They
he
didn't
got
want that
laid
pay
out,
pay.
laid out. So I think Dayron is on to something, bro. Like I see. Listen, the 25, 15, and 5 game that he had is really a blessing in the sky. At that build is basically kind of what you're looking for. The only problem with Dayron is he stay in foul trouble. That's
Right.
his real only problem, and he at most is 6'10" with sneakers on. So you need that type of build, but you kind of want to go for something a little bit taller, maybe
Ah,
at the 5. So I think
ah.
Dayron is on to something.
That's what
Yeah,
John's talking about. He's
I
staying
think
foul trouble. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
seen Dayron make he looking somewhat impressive a little bit if I can see some consistency. You said it right though. He fouled the whole team don't get no call, really.
man, yeah. We all know that. We all know that, Scott,
the
bro.
whole,
Bro, like I
the whole
had
team.
I had people that's not even Nets fans tell me it was like, yo, bro, y'all is good. Y'all just don't get no respect on the whistle. I'm
That's
like,
right.
bro, like he saying like, yo, if we could get Coop out of the draft and then land a star out of a trade, we'll
We'll get
probably
some
be cooking with
respect.
some grease. We'll
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
be getting some respect.
Yeah,
But
because
I
the
mean,
refs have no choice but to respect that.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
yeah.
Because everybody was checking out LaMelo. I like everybody. We went from all right, yo, can we get Jimmy? Can we get Giannis? Can we get LaMelo? Can we get this person, that person? I'll be honest with you. Out of all of them players that I wanted, like just in terms of the timeline, and this might be crazy as hell, Zion seemed like the best fit in terms of timeline. I
If
ain't
you
gonna
could get
lie.
him
How old
if
is
you could get
Zion?
Zion for a bargain, like 2 picks and Claxton, I'm with you because his money's not guaranteed. So if he can't cut it with us in 2 years, we can just let him go and
How old
you
is
get rid of
Zion?
Claxton's contract
Zion
at that
is
point. But I
24.
might be reluctantly open to it. I might be reluctantly open to
Hmm.
it.
Zion is 24, 25,
Yeah,
24.
yeah.
24, I
Something.
believe, right now. He's going to be 25, I think, this
Oh,
summer.
he's
He's
young.
playing
Yeah, he
well. I
fit
got to
the
give it to
timeline. Yeah.
you know what the crazy thing about Zion? I think he's like 15th right now in field goal percentage. If this guy would just stay healthy, have better eating habits, he would be a dominant player in the league. Like he's his own worst enemy. How am I taking a risk if a change of scenery will let him be a dominant, beast on this team? But he's got to keep the weight in check because if he doesn't, those hamstrings are going to be popping off like gumballs, man. And we can't have that happen if we take the gamble on him. But he looks
He's
like he's
24.
committed to getting the hell off that team. So maybe there is
He,
something
he
there,
he
David.
he do look like he committed to getting off that team. But
Sometimes change is good.
Yeah.
what I will say about Zion, I think Zion is healthy now. I just don't think the Pelicans is playing him so like that. But to try to ruin him, I don't think they trying to ruin him. I just think that he knows it's a better placement for him. He knows that team is probably going to try to break it up. They already gave up Bi. The only person that
Mhm.
they really want to keep is Trey Murphy. They exercise options on CJ McCollum. They exercise option on DeJounte. It's a shame how he went because we wanted him last year.
Right.
Now he done fell off the face of the
Right.
map. So
Hurt.
But you think
And
um
Murphy
maybe
tore his
going
shoulder
somewhere,
the other day. That's another
maybe
problem
going
too.
somewhere else would be good for him?
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
absolutely,
Murray?
absolutely.
Yeah. And Murphy tore
Um,
his shoulder the other day, so he could be out to start season. I think the Pelicans had to make a decision summer. If you get in that top 6 in the lottery, I think you just have to let Zion go at that point to the best team that can give you something generous for Zion. Nothing too
yeah,
crazy. Like we can have an offer for him, but it really depends on how we do in this draft. However the teams do in this draft will dictate the LaMelo and the Zion's futures. It'll be interesting to see where we fall in that spectrum for sure.
definitely,
Yeah.
John. But any event that we get Coop, I see us trading for a star to pair alongside him.
I do too, Leaf. I see
Like
that.
I see us
I
doing
see
that
it.
right after the draft.
Yeah, because
I think the deadline makes more sense though, because
I
this summer there isn't a whole lot of movement, but
I
it's
know
something to think
you
about.
I know you saying I know John don't agree with that a little bit. But I'm telling you, they're not gonna take 3 years to build this team. They're
Right.
not. You don't
Not if
have
they get Coop. Not if they get Coop.
if you get a
Like
number,
no,
if you get Coop, it's on and popping then because he's gonna try to wheel and deal. And I'm gonna tell you, in New York, the patience people and fans have is short.
very.
We don't have this kind of patience like OKC and those regional teams over in other cities.
We
In
don't.
New York don't have that patience.
Damn
We
sure
don't have
don't.
that luxury.
We don't.
We,
We
we
it's
do,
one of the things that we got to get it now. But the thing is, in this CBA, you kind of got to rush to get it now, bro. Notice that the Knicks pulled the plug on a lot of shit too early. And because the thing is like everybody is trying to guarantee to get stuff done now. They allowed OG Ananobi to rob them for 200 mil, and then they allowed Julius Randle. You basically substituted another non-playoff performer for another non-playoff
they
performer.
brought it up.
So like yo, cat, listen, cat. He might be skilled, but he's still a cat. He ain't a dog.
Right,
That's the
right.
problem. So like when you got somebody that's a clear cut cat, that ain't gonna get you nowhere, especially on a bum ankle from your little mighty mouse point guard that's averaging 27 and 7. That ain't gonna get it. That ain't gonna get it done. You gonna have like everything is gonna be done in the front court, and I think we have a chance to get everything done the right way. But you got to start with that front line. Notice that a lot of these teams that's most threatening, they got a good ass front line. Denver, got a good ass front line. Cleveland got a good ass front line. Boston got a good ass front line. These are all teams that you're gonna look at down the line in the playoffs, and that you're gonna have to take that mode and start getting skilled frontline players. Your guards are still gonna matter. Don't get me wrong, but your frontline players are gonna be the needle movers in the future, bro. So notice that Cooper this year and AJ DeMonson next year is certified number ones right now before the drafts even started. Frontline players, they're gonna go at the three, probably if possible, small ball four. But what they looking for is to get back to the 6'11s, 6'10 power forwards with that skill set of Rasheed Wallace. That's what they looking to get back for. Evan Mobley and Triple J is already changing that mold.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I
I can see
think
that.
I think next year's deadline might be the time for us to make a move. I think this summer what we should do, I think you agree with me, Leaf. If you could trade Johnson and Claxton, move off their salaries, get some expiring contracts, more draft assets, you go into 2026 free agency with some really good cap space. And if we draft well this summer and we can make a big move at the deadline next year while still being in the lottery, that's how we start building a core and we'll be on the right track in maybe 2 years to contend again. I think that's the best route than trying to fast track the summer. Because this summer's free agency is kind of dead in the water. You know, like if you re-sign Thomas and two other guys, it's kind of like there that goes. Or you facilitate as a trade team and take on an expiring contract, it kind of sets you up for next year. So I think next year's deadline might be our time to make a move while still clearing ourselves for the lottery. So
I
I think
like
that
that
makes more
plan.
sense.
I like that plan, John. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it, but I got a better one. The hell with this.
Okay.
I say, I got an absolute better one. I say, bro, we go get our big body center the second that the draft is over. The second that free agency is over with, we go get our big body center. We go make that trade. We go make that trade for our young big body center. Whether he's in this draft, whether he's in last year, whatever draft he's in, bro. Like, let's go get our big body center to pair along with Clowney, because we know Clowney is going to be the head honcho probably at the 4. And then we right after that, in that same retrospect, if we do get Coop, go trade for your big body center and then go trade for your star, and they'll fill out the rest of your roster with free agents with free agents with low ball contracts, like a 3-year 10 mil or 4-year 12 or 12 mil, something like that, bro. Like, we could do that, and then we cooking with Reese. Then we
All right.
then we writing the money.
All right, real quick, because it's all to go with what y'all said. We're gonna answer. I'm gonna let Scott answer a wrestling go crazy question. But if you get Zion or anybody, the center position is all that we just talked about. The center, Lee said, a big body center, right? So it seems like no matter what, you absolutely need a skill center, no matter who you get on the
That's a
team.
fact. That's a
You know what I'm
fact.
saying? Whether you get Zion, whether you get Coop, whether you get Ace, the center position seems like, you know what I mean? Like the power forward, you could work with Clowney at 6'9", 6'10". You know what I'm saying? Coop, Zion, he's different. You know what I'm saying? He's a different power forward. But as you said, Leap, they trying to get back to the 6'11", Rasheed Wallace, fade away, back to the basket. You know what I'm saying? Athletic type power forwards. So realistically, there aren't, like I said, there's a few centers in this draft. So with wrestling go crazy, Scott, you answer that question about Queen.
Yeah, they can also pick up Danny Wolf from Michigan.
You think Danny's a center? I think Danny's a power forward. He's more skilled like a power forward. You think he's a center?
But he's 7 feet. He's 7 feet. He's awkwardly a very good passing, dribbling, moving center.
So all right, question now. Because we're gonna get the Queen. But question about Danny Wolf. Now, with that being said, because the way I see him is like Evan Mobley. You put him at the 4 spot, and you get you another shot blocking center.
Right.
Now you're creating problems. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, they call him a point forward. You know what I'm saying? Because he got handle, he got skill, he got a little vision. But even for Michigan, he doesn't play center.
Right. He doesn't play center because of his skill set.
Right. Exactly.
His skill set is beyond what a center is. You know, like He plays like a small forward.
Huh. Right.
He moves like a small forward.
Right.
Have you ever seen him move around? He does the pick and roll. He coming out of his role. When he comes out of it, he coming out of it like a forward. It's amazing that he moves so quickly at 250. Right. So I mean, I'm just putting that out there. And he's in later rounds. I can see us picking him up.
Oh yeah, Danny's in the 20s. So now I'm gonna answer wrestling go crazy. He said, will y'all like Queen and Yegor? So you go ahead and answer that, Scott.
Yeah, of course. I've been going with Yegor. He fell off a little bit, but I like his skill set. Like I said, his passing ability, his size and stuff. It can be disruptive to some smaller players if he's quick enough to keep up.
Right.
That's only if we don't get the top three. Because if we get the top three, then
if we get Zion, so somebody in the chat they said we get Zion, we need to stretch five. Well, necessarily you do, but you still need that five to be a big body rebounder because Zion Zion could rebound, but he ain't like 15 to 20 rebounds on any given night. His rebounding come mostly like 7, 8, like maybe 9. Like he just got a triple double early this year. Zion is going in the direction of point Zion, and I'm starting to see it, bro. Like, cause the way that he could read defenses, he could facilitate a bit, bro. Like, I would put Zion more at the 3, if I had him, bro. Like, because I would put him at the 3 more so if I had him, bro. Like, because I feel like at the 3. In offense and then have him be like a roamer type of player, have him be like the stand around roamer type of player, kind of how they got Curry, how to Golden State got Curry. I put him in that position because defensively, we figured out guys that can help us defensively. We figure out guys that can help us in terms of wing presence and POA attack defense. If we pair if in the event that we get Coop and we pair Zion with that out of a trade because we already know it's disfrontal stars all over the place, and then go get our big body center, bro. We cooking with grease in the front court. I ain't gonna lie to you, because Coop could play the 3. Coop could play the 3,
right?
But the thing is, what you really want is Clowney.
Interesting. I think Dylan Harper and a Zion combination would be very interesting. If you have Dylan Harper's playmaking abilities and his ability to be a closer with Zion, how can you stop all those two guys on offense? I think Harper could fight Zion for like 10, 15 lobs a night with his vision. So that's a combination that could work too. If we draft Dylan Harper and you want to make a move for Zion, it definitely could make sense. But you definitely need a 5. You can't play Zion at the 5. Like, given his health situation, you want to try to protect him too in certain scenarios. So you don't want him to play in that 5 position. You definitely would need a rebounder next to him. If you get a good 5 next to Zion, woo, that front court's going to be, like you said, on fire right there. So that's definitely something interesting there to think about.
Listen, I already said with Cooper alone, I think we could win 30 games maximum.
Hold on. Adar got the right center. Now, I talked about him too. Ryan Kalkbrenner, big body center, right? Yo, Brook Lopez. He reminds me of Brook Lopez. He would definitely be perfect to put alongside Zion because he can stretch the floor. He's a big block shot guy and a rebounder. And he's also 7 foot 250. You know what I mean? In this draft. You know what I'm saying? There are a few centers in this draft.
Yeah, especially down in the later rounds.
Yeah. But they're older. And that's the only reason they're in the later rounds, because they're older. You know what I mean? But Kalkbrenner broke Patrick Ewing record for I think it was shot blocks or for whatever. You know what I mean? He's been the only person to break that record. So you know what type of center he is. You know what I mean? And he can score and stretch the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was looking also at Max Renard from Stanford. 7'1", 250 center. He plays a traditional center. So I can see. I mean, the thing is with the Nets and this GM, I don't know how he doesn't think traditional center like. He doesn't think that way. He don't think, and I personally think you need one on your roster. At least one.
I agree. You know what it is? He wants to play fast basketball, but you need the talent to play that type of style. That's why having a big that can do ISO is not a bad thing at all. But in Mark's
No,
case,
it's
like,
not.
if
Especially in the
we're a slow
playoffs.
team, we're gonna get eaten alive. No, if we have an actual big that can defend the other big, you have a shot of winning eventually. Look at Claxton. He can run to the rim, but can he defend in Nikola? No. Can he defend in Porzingis? No. Like, at least
Yeah.
these other bigs would give you a fighter's chance. Even if they're
Yeah.
a little slow, they can still do the offensive things Claxton can't do. So once Marks gets out of that mindset, like Scott's alluding to, we could actually start developing a good thing at the big position. But he's got to make the change himself.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know about Sean Marks.
The trepidation from Scott's the best, man. I love it.
We will
And
see.
I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah,
More
we'll
credit
see.
than most.
Marks.
But even now, I'm starting to go, I don't know about you, man.
Hey, it all depends on what he do. You know what I mean? It all depends on what he do. Because once I heard Ray Nard, and I've been talking about Ray Nard, I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? You listen to somebody's podcast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ray Nard.
Get us a 7-footer. Give us somebody that weighs some weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this guy he's just a traditional center. He's a rim protector. You know what I'm saying? I watched him play. I watched one of his games. That's when I said, not bad. I don't expect too much from you, but I expect you to be holding the paint down. And he's capable of doing it.
Definitely.
I just don't know, man. Definitely. I really don't know.
We need offense too, Jamal, at the center position. Claxton can only give you so much.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a stretch.
But that's what I'm saying. But if you if that's why I always say it's not Clax's fault, really.
Bro, we got to stretch. His name is Clowney.
Skill set.
Yeah, and actually, what you calling is not doing too bad. It's not really. I mean, he's just not getting the playing time.
Who you talking about?
Who's that? Who you talking about, Scott?
For the Nets, our center,
dayron.
He showed that he has willing to shoot that three.
He's shown that he's willing to do a lot of things. It's just the thing is that the foul trouble kind of keeps him off the court. So like,
he needs more playing time. Do you think so?
Yeah, and when he got the playing time, he put up 25, 15, and 5. That's when he got them starter minutes. That's what he did.
Yes.
So I mean, that's not the problem.
Right.
The issue is that can he stay on the court on any given night with the foul trouble that he has? Can you find a duplicate of him and swap the minutes with him, and then be okay at your athletic and have your athletic 4 that can still defend, have your athletic 3 that can still defend, and then have your scorers at wherever else you're gonna have them at, and still have your Tyrese Martins, and still have your shooters, and still have your Jalen Wilsons to pair along with that. So the front court, I think we get a legitimate front court. I don't give a shit how else we build the roster. The hell with that, bro. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Like, listen. You can listen. Everybody want to talk to me. Everybody want to talk to me about Kai Jones, bro. Guess what? Kai Jones had 20 and 11 tonight, bro, for the Dallas Mavericks. Nobody even know he played for them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, listen. Tell me what you want to tell me.
He was in the G League.
No, he's playing for the Dallas Mavericks as currently constructed.
They need bodies right now, Ice.
And he's playing, and he has been playing for them, bro, for the last month, and he been dogging. 21-8. 18-11, 20-11, bro. Like, he's been dogging.
Yeah, for him, it's just situation, chance, and situation. That for him, he's got the skill. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of Kai Jones. You know what I'm saying? Athletic, rim runner, quick, block shots, jump out the gym. You know what I'm saying? Every team needs a Kai Jones, bro. You know what I mean? Leaf, answer this question though. In all fairness to Claxton, it's much easier to build a team with a rim running big than a big who's the offense runs through. It slows down the game and could be a negative. What do you think about that?
I think that is true. in most cases. The only anomaly is probably Joker. Joker is the only anomaly that we've seen. But yeah, I wouldn't be too opposed to that. But at the same time, a big body center that doesn't need to do much but rebound can also be a plausible to that too, and it's definitely in a half court set. So I wouldn't rule out having a big body center at all, as opposed to having a rim runner. That's just me.
Right. And also Sangoon, look what he does to the Rockets. He's probably their best player, probably even better than Jalen Green. Let's look at Zubats from the Clippers. He's gotten much better over the years. And he's not just a lob threat anymore. He can score and inside the paint a lot of different ways as well. He's a big body center too. Like, you need a big body center to compete against the other teams. Unfortunately, our system is not designed for these undersized bigs to really succeed, because you need superstars for them to succeed. We're not at that perimeter right now. That's why you got to get a big that can do a lot more than what our current ones are doing. So we could reset the system this year at center and be a lot of and make a lot more progress than we are right now. It's just Marks has to change his philosophy and go after a big that can do more and add the versatility and switchability we need right now. And unfortunately, Clax and dayron, they need a lot of help to do those things, and we can't build around them. That's why we got to make some tough decisions this summer with the two of them.
Yeah.
What you think about that, Scott?
I think so too.
About this,
I think John is right.
Question.
You know, they just need to make the right moves. That I have. Claxton is going to be he's going to be a casualty to war. He's going to get. They're going to end up trading him off. I could see it happening.
GM Scott.
Yeah, I hate to see that go, but I can see it happening.
Yeah, Jamal, I talked about that earlier, right? But like I said, me and John talked about it. Clax need a certain type of team so you get the best out of Clax. He shows what he can do, but he's still in this offense when there's no offense, really. You know what I mean? He can only give you so much. You know what I mean? He can only do so much. He needs the help around him to get the best out of Clax. And that's what we're talking about. And so they was looking at, it's been on Twitter that they've been looking at Maxime Reynard from Stanford, 6'10", 7-foot center, 250, right? So that's what we're talking about now. And he could do everything, stretch the floor, as JP said, inside, outside game, post up, pass out, create from himself, dribble from the three. And that was one of the names that they mentioned, you know what I mean? So as far as what player one said, yeah, I agree too. It could slow down the game, but it depends on these centers. You know what I mean? What type of center are they? Maxime he's slow, but he ain't that slow. You know what I mean?
Right.
Clark Brenner's a little bit slower than Clark Brenner's your real big, slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
He can still move though, but he's slower. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you know what I mean, like his game is slower. But it all depends on the center that you get. Yeah, JP right. That's be able to play inside out. If they had like a Maxime who you just dump the ball into and let him go to work. You can't really do that with Clax. You can't really do that with dayron. Dayron be used as a hub sometimes. And I actually thought they would let him do that more like they did with Ben. Because you seen dayron pass sometimes, little bounce passes to Cam Johnson or to a cutter. And those passes are better than Nick's passes. So I thought they would let him get more into that role when he's on the floor instead of setting the screen at the top and, you know what I'm saying, catching the ball and dribble handoff style. I thought they would let him create for the cutters a little bit with the bounce passes, get to a certain spot and pass it. But I don't see them doing that for him a lot. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, he only did it in that Warriors game where he had 10 assists. That's my disappointment with Clax. Every time he takes leaps, there are very few are in between. They have to wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's like you need a center that can do a lot of those things on a consistent basis. When Claxton, he shows it here and there, but it's like he's telling you, if you get me superstars, I can give this to you on a daily basis. But building around Claxton is a no bueno at all if you're trying to build a legit team. So unfortunately, if that's the way Claxton wants to go about things, like you said, try to find a team that can utilize his skill set and carry his offense. We need a big that's like, I can create my own offense. I could do the rebounding. I could defend. I could do a lot of things, and I don't need a point guard or superstars to bail me out 24/7. So I just feel like with Claxton, we've seen too little, and any of the highlights he gives you, they're just very few in between. So we need to just get a big that can show it on a daily basis, and we can talk good stuff about it, not just talk about every one out of 10 games.
Yeah.
That's true. Why can't we have a 4 big rotation? All right.
I don't know.
Four bigs
motto
and
is
one. Interesting.
right. My motto is right. The way I would build the team is different. I wouldn't say a 4 big rotation, but it is, but it's not if you think about what I'm saying. Because I always say with Claxton and Clowney, Claxton and dayron, if one of them go down, we don't have another center. So that's why I think drafting, as Scott say, Danny Wolf, right, who is a power forward that's I think a power forward is 7 foot. But if your Claxton or dayron go down, he can slide in and play the center because he is 7 foot. So I'm looking to draft a power forward / center at that height. You know what I mean? So you would have three centers technically on a roster, and not 2 like Claxton dayron. I'm like, hey Clowney, one of these guys out. You got you know what I'm saying? Embiid tonight. Like, bro, that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? That's not gonna work.
Right.
We're tired of seeing that happen anyways. So that's what I would do. Let me know what y'all would do.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think Danny Wolf will fit what the Nets need. I really do. I really believe that. I wouldn't say he's the most talented in the paint. I wouldn't even say he's the best shooter. I wouldn't even say he's the best passer coming out as in that position. More of a power forward at his skill. But what makes him tough is that he can do all 3. He just seemed to always be in the right spot. he's just a guy you just can't pin down. He's not going to stay still. He's always moving. He moves a lot. And that causes problem when you 7 feet and move a lot and can shoot the 3. That causes a problem.
Yeah, he's quick.
You know, that caused a big problem to a lot of bigs.
Right.
Now, his toughness, I think you can teach toughness.
That should be another topic. Can you teach toughness? You know what I mean? Yo,
I think you can. If that player believes in that coach, you can teach. You could almost get somebody, it's a mind game, but you can almost make them go through a wall. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just saying, but he has to feel rewarded for his effort, and he has to seek it. Right. That's why it's so important to get players with a certain mindset, more so than skill. I personally think skill level, even though it's important, it's very short. And I mean, that gap between somebody being picked 30 and somebody being picked 10, it's real small. That's my opinion. I think it's a mindset at that point. Like, where this guy what he want to achieve when he come in this league. Am I going to put my all in all? You know what I'm saying?
You got to think between 10 and 30, right? Is somebody else just guessing and say, all right, I think he belongs at 27, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you could be, whoever put you at 27 could be absolutely wrong. You know what I mean? Absolutely wrong about putting you at 27.
Yeah, because what happened is that person probably goes to the strip club. Now, not nothing personal, but and then there's another person at 10 who stays home studying his moves and thinking about what he's going to do when he get on the court, eating right and doing the right things. Then there's the other guy eating McDonald's. I mean, they're young and they can get away with it, but it's a difference in your growth as a player. That where some people you might have it, like John Morant has it, but he's not he has that talent. It's a natural gift talent for him, so he can hang out eat McDonald's, probably hang out and do what he need to do, and still come back and drop 20, get 10 assists or whatever, and do the same thing every day. There's some people who need to work on it,
Sure.
which is understandable. But there are those that's willing to do it, and then there's those that's not. And that makes the difference between the talents to me.
Correct. It does. Jamal. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I get what you're talking about. Because that's what I'm saying. If you drafted Danny Wolf, who's 7 foot, he is your Nas Reed type, right?
Right.
And then you got Vanderbilt, and we got Clowney. I'm not saying Clowney is Vanderbilt, but you get where I'm getting at, right?
Right,
and
right.
Then you draft your other center, and if one of them go down, I mean, just saying Claxton and Claxton and dayron. If one of those go down, then your Nas Reed, you know what I'm saying, can slide over to that position. So I agree with you. Yes, you know what I'm saying. We need to build a roster like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think it's one thing the Timberwolves, even the Magic taught you, getting bigger as a team with your starters is a huge advantage. Like, you look at Boston, they have
Bro,
so
I
many
don't have
big
no
guys on
problem
that
with 4
team.
bigs. Shit, the Grizzlies got 4 bigs. They got J Huff, Saldama, Triple J, and Zach Edey, and they all dogging.
Yeah.
So I don't
Right,
got no problem with that.
Right.
right. We got to get
If
away
you
from the
got 4
small ball
bigs with 4
philosophy.
different skill sets, you good. Aaron
Yeah,
Gordon just
yeah. They
ran the
just
5 the other night.
Yep, exactly. I think that they got different skill sets is even better because a team wouldn't know how you coming. They have to prepare for everything.
Hey, that's what I'm talking. That's my strategy. I've been talking about that. You need a 4. Your 4 should be able to play the 5. Now, I'm not saying they should be centers, but they should be able to slide into that spot at times to give you a different look on offense, give you a look on defense, and like Leaf be talking about, like you have an advantage somewhere. You should always try to find the advantage with your guys and their skill sets and how they play, you know what I'm saying, against certain teams. And that will cause problems, like y'all are saying. Do y'all agree with that?
Most definitely. You want versatility, switchability. That's what makes you a great team. And for the Nets, if they can figure out how to get balance on this team and you get a certain type of model like the Magic and Timberwolves, you definitely become a much bigger threat organically and you become a balanced team overall. If we can figure that out a little bit in this draft and do the same in the following, you're right there where you should be. The superstar is going to look at a team like, wow, this team is actually balanced. If I could slide in right there and be a big 30, 40-point scorer, I got the tools around me that are going to be a full function unit. It can come together in 2 to 3 years for this team. It's just decisions have to make sense, and you don't want to make redundant picks. You want to make picks that are versatile and fit the system and give Jordy what he wants. I think Jordy wants a versatile team. That's why he's had these players working in weeks. Look at Zaire Williams. Horrible three-point shooter come to the season. His three-point shot's got so much better. I've noticed that with Jordy, he focuses on these guys' weaknesses. So look at the weeks like Derek Queen, great offensive guy. Weakness as a defender. I think Jordy can work on that. Edgecombe, he's got all the tool sets. Can he put it all together? I think Jordy can figure it out. I think the great thing about all these top prospects is I could see a good amount of them fit in Jordy's system because he's going to care about their development and maximizing their potential. And I think that's what's good about our coaching staff is they care about that. I feel like the last few years we had coaching staffs that didn't really give a damn about development, about practicing, about weight regimen. This season, I've seen it. I mean, Jordy put these guys to hell this summer. If these rookies come on his team, get ready. You're going to be put through the same thing, but you're going to become a much better player for it. And I think that's the upside I could take from this season is that the coaching staff really cared this season about putting these guys in the best position possible to be ultra competitive, but grow their games a little bit as well. So I think that's something to definitely take away from the season and hope to build on it for sure.
Yeah, Jordy does put these guys to work. As you said, Zaire coming from Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
he looks like a different player. I know they missed him over there and all that, but he's doing quite all right in Brooklyn right now. You know what I mean? He's showing us that he can do a little bit more, and I like it. Jordy is getting the best out of these guys, so you can't be mad at what Jordy is doing on the court because he has these guys hooping. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to get in that conversation, but your G Leaguers is looking like some NBA guys with Jordy. You know what I mean? Lee, you still there?
Probably stepped off.
All right,
Asa Noel. What you think of Asa Noel? I haven't watched him play, really, be honest with you. He played for Georgia. I haven't seen none of their games.
All right. I'm gonna get to Acer real quick. Question: would y'all throw money at Quentin Grimes this off season?
No.
Yay or nay?
He's
No.
doing well on a bad team, but it's like the cap space this summer, you should use it strategically as a facilitator to take on expiring contracts and get draft capital, not to sign a guy to a $20 million contract, something like that for 2 to 3 years. Grimes is an interesting young player, but we're trying to build real pieces with the draft. We already have Cam Thomas, who we're likely going to resign. So getting Grimes to be another scorer on this team, I just don't think it makes sense right now. So I wouldn't be going that far for Quinn Grimes right now.
JP, I didn't forget about Golden. I was talking about him earlier, but I didn't see his name in the draft unless I missed it. I know he's a good center. He plays next to Danny Wolf. That's the center that plays with Michigan with Danny Wolf. He's the center. Yeah, he's nice. I don't see his name in the draft. Maybe I missed it.
I don't know if he's in the draft. Did he put himself eligible for the draft?
I'm not even sure.
I didn't see it neither.
You know if he put himself in the draft? Let me know something. So back to Asa Newell. I seen Asa and he played better than better than what I thought. But I still, with having Claxton and having Clowney, I still wouldn't draft him because he's like the same. You know what I'm saying? He does a little bit more, but he's still like still in that same realm as them. He's like the same player. You know what I mean? So I want to get away from what we have or anything similar,
right?
And find something different. You know what I mean? He's more the same. He could be better, but right now they just the same type of player. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a redundant trap you don't want to fall in. That's why Trey Johnson, listen, great scorer, but you already got Thomas. Like, it feels like that's a little redundant. Like, if we could find complementary top pieces in this draft, that's way better than trying to get a redundant piece that might have to ass out a guy that he's competing with for a future spot on his team. I don't think we have to go that route. But his organization, it depends. Do they care about complementary pieces or they want just the best overall player? I think we brought up some great examples tonight at center, at forward, at point guard, at scoring guard. Well, scoring guard is kind of set, but at point guard, forward, and center, we talk about complementary pieces, switchability, versatility. And if they can stay on brand message on draft night with that, I think you're in a way better position than you are right now. So hopefully they prioritize that over redundancy. So, yeah, Asa Noel would definitely be a trap we don't want to fall in.
No, okay, all right. Because they were saying that he shoots better than yeah.
And most of his stuff is at the rim. He could shoot the 3 ball, and he can bring the ball up court. Because LM talked about that before. Shout out to LM. But I seen him, and he had me you know what I'm saying, focus on the screen. Like, hold on, like he is nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, he is nice. But then again, like, you know what I'm saying? He's still like Clowney.
He like Claxton. Yeah.
He's like the same thing. Like 6'11", slim body, not big. You know what I mean? Everything like saying what Clax could have did at Georgia. He does the same thing, right? But he probably does it a little bit better. But it's like still the same. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to draft a Claxton 2.0 that might be slightly better? 6'11". Right.
But that might be a Marks thing that might happen. But let's avoid it, Marks.
I can see Sean Marks doing that. Oh my God.
Licking his chops like Asa right there. Newell, yeah.
We got to write a list of what not to do on draft night. We got to come up with that.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? Facts. We got to stay away from the same players. You know what I mean? But I'm excited that they say Reynard because he's not like nothing we got on his roster at all.
I watched him and I said, I was impressed.
Yeah, he's nice.
I was impressed.
Yeah, he's nice, man.
Who I'm not so impressed that's high in the draft is Duke center.
Maliwa.
Which I understand why people feel the way they do. His hands are good around the rim. That's what it is. It seemed like, and if the ball is around him, he got it. So it's not an if and a buts about it. It's like he got claws. You know, he grabs the ball from around the rim really well. but
Yeah,
he don't show me nothing else.
Yeah, because that's the problem with going to Duke is that you got the team is so loaded, right? The team is so loaded that you can't always show everything that you got. So I think his role for Duke is limited. Like Coop shines because it's a team setting, but like I was talking about, they still got they got Coop in the draft, Con Knuppel, they got Isaiah Evans,
right,
and they got the center, and they got Proctor, what's his name? Proctor, he's in the second round. They starting five base. Well, Isaiah not starting. He's humble off the bench, but he might be in the first round at the bottom. Some people got him in the second round. So they got five players in the draft. In this draft. You know what I mean? So like it doesn't even make sense. Like, why are you going to Duke? You know what I mean? But I get why you go to Duke though.
I guess so. But I mean, this guy, he's 7'2", 250 from South Sudan. And the thing about him that when I watched him play, what made me pause the moment is that when he's on the outside of the key, his job is to roll to the rim, period. And everybody knows he's going to do it and nobody can stop him. I don't know if I was like, you don't do nothing else. You don't pick and pop. You can't do nothing else. You can't go to the corner. You can't bring your man out of the paint.
He's got defensive value. Maliwak's biggest strength in this draft is the defensive value. He's probably one of the best defensive centers. And here's a crazy thing. Let's say that Marks trades Claxton right before draft night. He's going to make trades right before the draft. If he trades Claxton before draft night and our pick falls out of top 6, I think there's a chance he goes after Maliwak because defensively, he'd be a great upgrade for Jordy, a defensive big that actually lead this new era that he's trying to create.
He would be a center. He would be
if Claxton was traded on before draft night, I could see Maliwak if our pick is around 7 to 10. I could see things line up like that if on May 12th that pick is out of top 6.
I think it has a lot to do with them balls fall at. I really do.
I agree.
It does.
I think he's basing everything, all his moves, based on where them balls going to fall at. If that
I just
ball
hope he commits to a direction this summer. I really do.
You can't get upset with him if the ball falls back to 7 or 6, because I mean you can make a case that we should have lost some more games and gained 3 more percentage. But I mean that's hearsay and nearsay. I mean, when you're dealing with like lottery balls, you ain't got no control of that. You can have all the balls in the machine and that one ball be somebody else's ball and that be the number 1 pick. It's possible. It really is possible. So you really don't have no control of that. Yeah, you just need to be in the hunt. That's it.
Right.
Well, you really believe in that ping? You really believe in that ping pong shit, bro?
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, if you wanted to really say if it was real, if it was really truly a lottery with the ping ball, the balls, yeah. But if it's rigged, it's different, Of course, the league will want Cooper to come to Brooklyn. I know that.
Why do people think it's a coincidence? Why do people think it's a coincidence that LeBron went to Cleveland, that D Rose went to Chicago?
I don't think it's a coincidence. Yeah, it might be, but I'm not going to sit there and say something I'm not sure. That's my thing, And besides, I don't want to get my hopes up high for it to be hitting the floor.
I'm getting my hopes up, man, because guess what? We got more picks to go. F that. We a 23 win team, and we deserve a minimum top 3. The hell with that. The NBA owe us, bro. Get out of here.
It would be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice.
Believe in the ping pong balls, leave.
Hell no. I believe in an envelope. That's what I believe in. That's because bro, ain't that how the Knicks got Patrick Ewing? Was an envelope. Wasn't no damn ping pong ball.
It's sure no. Yeah, right. You're right. It was a card, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
It
it
was a
was. It
damn
was.
envelope.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they used to have.
And guess and you know what the excuse was, bro? After the Knicks got the number one pick, David Stern himself, he said, and quote, "Yo, if they want to say it's rigged, that's fine, just as long as they spell our names right." That's
Yo,
the words of somebody that's running an LLC, bro. That's not the
Yo,
words of somebody that's trying to play fair.
That's
if
right.
if we get done with
You got a
pick, they're
point
gonna
there.
remove the. If we get done with pick, they remove the R and say "Boo, Clint." They're gonna have the guys that are gonna be jealous that we get number one pick. I'm telling.
they would.
That's
They
fine.
would. I never thought about that, but it would be, yeah, it would be something to talk about for a while. You know what I mean? Brooklyn with Coop, it'd be something to talk about.
Just
Hey,
getting
Chris,
top three would be great.
yeah, giving you sports from my point of view. Hey, my dog, I don't talk about them things on Twitter like that sometimes because, yo, people on Twitter sometimes don't know what they be talking about. What makes Trey better than Con Knuckle? All right. Con Knuckle do a lot of things, but he don't do more than Trey does. That's for one. You know what I mean? I think they're the same height. Knuckle's a little bigger. He's more of a three. He's not a scorer. He's a 3-point shooter, and you know what I mean. He gets rebounds, stuff like that. But Trey, he's like almost like Ace, but he's 6'6". You know what I'm saying? Your Cam Thomas type scorer, just a straight bucket. He can bring the ball up. He's not a point guard, but he can run a little bit of point. High IQ for passing. He can rebound. Now I've seen people talk about his defense, and him and Ace has like very close in defensive percentages, so he can play a little defense. He does everything for the team, so they say it takes away from his defense because he has to offer so much offense to the Longhorns. So his defense
Don't
part
say
goes.
Trey Johnson name too loud, bro, because I already told you know who, no, you know what, bro. Like if we get Trey Johnson, he better pray we don't, bro, because you
You know
know
what I
who
mean?
his ass is out of here. The hell with all of
Oh,
that. The hell with all of that numbers we was talking about yesterday, bro. His ass is out.
we're gonna address that Thomas situation in a year or two. I just know it. I see where this is all leading up to, just based off what his contract could be. Oh, guys, my phone's shutting down. Listen, Ice, it was a lot of fun being on the show, man. I appreciate it. This was a great
All
show
right.
tonight, guys.
Yeah. Holler.
John.
Yeah.
Have a good
Yeah.
one, guys.
All right. If we do see this, is I get what you're saying too, right? Because I think if you land Darren Peterson next year, 26, Mike, he right now he's over number one over AJ Devonsta. Right now in the 26th draft, he has took the lead as number one. If you land if you land him, like what are you doing with your boy? I ain't gonna say his name because you already know. You
I
already
think.
know.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I keep bringing the Cooper situation up, because I be honest with you, bro. Like I don't look with the cap space that we always end up getting, and with the way that we are in the rankings in terms of quality teams and high pitch organizations. Our rebuild should really only be like 1 or 2 years minimum, realistically. Like we've proved that we could put a coach in there to make something work and to make something shake with the young players. And now it is young with the young stars that's in the league, the young disgruntled stars on other teams. I strongly believe that in the event that we get Coop at number one, so a star is going to be paired alongside of him. A young star, a young all star is going to be paired alongside of him to start his rookie season. I strongly believe that. I strongly believe that the NBA is going to tap us on the shoulder as soon as the second that we get the number one pick. They're going to be like, Sean, you know you're picking Coop, right? You know you're picking Coop. That listen, damn the Rutgers games. You know you're picking Coop, right? That's what we're picking, right? Because the NBA, the thing is, bro, when the NBA gives you the number one pick, that means they playing a hand on helping build the team as well. Best believe it, bro. Like they did it. You can't tell me they ain't doing it with the with the Spurs. Is it a coincidence they got De'Aaron Fox? Is it a coincidence that Chris Paul still signing for $11 million at the age of 40?
Yo,
Oh, what a job, right?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, listen, hey, listen. I wish all the good health in the world to Pop, man. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Pop. You ain't gonna be around for this Wimby shit. You ain't gonna be around for that. Nah.
No, that's not his generation. That wasn't his greatest achievement. Having
His
the
greatest
team
achievement was Tim Duncan.
that's right. There you go.
And the NBA left you alone for 20 years, bro. You produced 20, 50 win seasons. They left you
Yeah.
alone for 20 years.
Yeah, he
And
did his
you got
thing.
5 championships out of it. Well, it's
That's not
time to
bad.
go.
No, it's not bad. He's going to be a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, you can
You
ride
know
off
that.
into the sunset, bro. It's
Yep.
time to go.
Yep. You ain't going to beat that.
Yeah, you ain't beating that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, like, listen, I know what's due, bro. Like, all I'm asking for is the top 3 pick, bro. I'm not asking for a number 1. But in the event that we get number 1, listen, I know for a fact that if the NBA really, really believes in Cooper Flag being somewhat of a next all-star at minimum, and they really, really believe in him as the consensus number 1 overall pick, no matter where who gets the number 1 overall pick, they're gonna tap us on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, listen, we gonna send probably a young star over here and make it look interesting."
Yeah, Jordy is the type of coach that you would want. It seemed like he's the type of coach that you would want him to coach that type of player for the league to make him a
That's what I'm
superstar.
saying.
It'll fit. It definitely would fit.
That's what I'm saying.
Chris, giving you from my sports, giving you sports from my view. You already know, Spears is my guy. I would, I would draft Jeremiah in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Me and Leaf. You know what I'm saying? We don't want Flag, bro. We not Flag Cooper Flag. I'd take him and we landed on him, but you know my first choice is Ace. You know what I'm saying? And Jeremiah
Right.
as point guard. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. That's where we at. You know what I'm saying? Leaf would take Yegor probably over Jeremiah. I ain't gonna speak for Leaf because he's right here. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, taking the thing is, I mean, he's saying he's not giving you sports from my view. It's not high on Cooper, but the thing is, the league needs. There's guards changing, right? You know, in the NBA. Some of these stars are not producing for what the league needs. So new talent, younger players come in. You need new superstars. You need stars. You need somebody to draw tickets. You need that. And Cooper fits that bill. It's where he lands at is where it's the most important thing.
Right.
So I can see him being in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is one of those spots. The city is one of those places that's booming.
He's a star.
It can work. It can work. I mean, I don't know if he win a title.
Right.
But I can tell you one thing, he'll fill a stadium.
Oh, he will.
That's what the NBA is worried about.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll bring some folks in. You know what I'm saying? Not like he's not an exciting player. He does things that, get you into the game, block shots, couple dunks here and there.
Yeah, but his name is out there.
Yeah.
And the marketing is there. So
yeah. But Ace is my guy.
I see Ace. Yeah, Ace is the local kid, We're all rooting for the local kid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Ace. Of course I wouldn't mind. I tell you, really, to be honest with you, the top 3, I wouldn't mind at all.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you've seen that clip of Paul George when they asked him who he would take between Ace and Flag, and he said he'll take Ace because there's no telling what Ace would turn into. He got more upside, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when he says that, knowing what type of player he is, right? And then saying even though Cooper's going up number one, he said he would draft Ace number one. And I would do the same. I wouldn't take Flag number one, take Ace number one over
I don't
him.
know. I don't know about
Just
that.
just for the ups. I would. I would. It's not I don't have no team leave. I'm in my basement right now recording. You know what I mean? That's
I
my
mean,
business.
well, nah,
You know what I
nah,
mean?
nah. I hear what you're saying, but the problem with that is that the NBA got investment in this, bro. Like the thing is, we all know, no matter what tide, unless Cooper Flag, bro, messed around and bust his ankle, bust his whole leg up, like from top to bottom. That's the only way he's not going number one, bro. Like I promise you, bro. Like I like. This thing is like there's lawyers in this. There's a whole bunch of things in this process with Cooper going number one. It's almost like Wemby going number one, but like it's just a different draft. The NBA is going to tap us on the shoulder, and they're going to say, "Hey, Sean, you know who you're picking number one, right?" It's like, yeah, we know. You do know you're picking Cooper number one, right? Yes, sir. And that's going to be the end of it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean. As much as I want Ace, bro, like I'm not crazy enough to pick Ace over Cooper. I'm
I
not
am.
that crazy.
I definitely would. And like I said, there's always folks who would, even though you think like Cooper name is big and it is, and then the Harper's name is big and it is. Ace Bailey's name is big, but there's like so many questions, you know what I'm saying, around Ace, and I'm like, bro, Coop, all right, Coop been playing with a loaded team majority of the time. He went to school, high school loaded. His college is loaded with talent, so he been playing with talented guys this whole time. Ace has not. Regular high school, then he went to Rutgers with Dylan, and they toughed it out over there. You know what I mean? And you see, and I keep saying this,
Love it.
if you look at Ace's numbers, as bad as criticism that he get, the only thing that's different between him and Coop is assists. That's the only that's the only thing that's different. At a bad school and at a school that's loaded, you got five players. I don't want to call people, five players going to the draft. And you only got you and Dylan Harper, and the only thing different between you and the number one is maybe 4 assists, and that's it, right? And you still got the high up. Everyone's saying like he could be a bust, but he still got the highest upside. And you putting up those type of numbers right now, and you're not at a loaded school. Give him a decent team. Give him a loaded roster, and then tell me what kind of numbers you think he gonna put up. You know what I mean? That's why I would take Ace. No brainer. I see what Coop do, but Ace got the similar numbers at a less with less pieces to work with on a roster. You know what I mean? So if you building a team and you put him in the right situation, Ace numbers will go way higher. It'd be way easier. If you ever watch Rutgers, he has nowhere to drive the ball. Like that's why Dylan Harper keeps the ball a lot, because he go wiggle around the lane. But if you put Ace on the wing, he's got nowhere to create. He got no driving lanes. My man is taking jump shots everywhere. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh well,
Yeah,
Ace doesn't drive to the lane. He has no room. The team is
yeah,
not
yeah,
good. You know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean? So I'll
yeah,
take
yeah,
Ace first.
yeah. And I can't argue that. I think Ace. I even think Dylan would be even great too. You can't go wrong with them too. I
I'm
swear
not.
to God, you
Listen,
can't.
hey, look,
What?
I'm gonna say this before I kick, bro. Like, listen, I've said what I said about wanting a number three pick at minimum. I think we're due at least three, bro. I think that like just the way that everything is going, I'm okay with three. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if we get three and that's where Ace is, then I'm going with Ace. But at the same time, listen, I don't give a damn what the numbers look like. The numbers could be the numbers at a bad school in the situation, whatever the case may be. All I'm gonna say is this, bro: the intangibles that Cooper has, and the 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 I guess the camera sighting, if you want to say whatever the hell, the the marksmanship that he has, it makes him, it's going to make him number one in this sense, because what you want out of your wings, Cooper has it all, bro. Like that whole Paul George setting on both sides of the ball, Cooper has
Mhm.
feels almost every bit of that. The NBA wants to build their molds after certain players in terms of position, bro. And I think Cooper Flag fits that bill. Not saying that Ace doesn't. It's just Ace is still going to be more of a raw prospect. Once he gets in the league as a before Coop. As far as them playing for better teams and better situations, hey, nobody told Ace to go to Rutgers. No, I mean, like, I mean, listen, you want to, I feel you. You want the Nike deal and all of that, and you want the ball in your hands, and you want to show that you could do stuff. Show that you could also show the intangibles and prove that you could win games too. You know what I'm saying? You could prove that you could win games in different ways, and that's what Cooper has shown. And that's one of the reasons why Cooper, at the moment, is a better prospect than Ace Bailey. That Cooper at the moment is a better prospect than Dylan Harper. It's the intangibles. It's the other stuff that you don't see on the stat sheet, and he has that, and he contributes to that. So, and before I go, man, like, listen, I wanted number 3, but one more time, in the event that I'm getting that we get number 1, and we get Coop, I'm 100% certain that right after that draft, we're going to make a trade for a young star to pair alongside of him. You
Yeah.
heard it here first. So let me get up out of here, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
All right.
I
All
gotta
right. So
go
we about to
too.
close out. Y'all know my motto. Y'all don't have to like. Y'all don't have to subscribe because I don't know anything. You heard? I'm out.
All right. Peace, Ice. Thanks. Nice show.
All right. Yeah.